Elliot.
And hi, I'm Tim. So welcome wherever you are. We've got this amazing show for you tonight that was a really great journey to bring together.
Yes, for the next hour and a half, we promise you a little bit of everything. We have guest stars chatting about their spotlight features. We have fish facts. We have discoveries and adventures. And we also have partner show reels.
And of course, we will be bringing you the winners of the Underwater Tour Awards 2021. We're very excited to see them, and without further ado, we're going to hand you over to our anchors, Darren and Jasmine Carey.
And let's get on with the show.
Good evening, Internet people.
Hello, everybody.
I'm Darren and welcome to the Underwater Tour Show for 2021. Coming to you live from the Camera Pro headquarters in beautiful Brisbane.
And I'm Jasmine Carey, and we are absolutely thrilled to have you all here with us tonight. Tonight we are going to have an awesome agenda planned, and we are going to have a chitter-chatter to our special guest speakers. We've got Aaron Wong, Dr. Richard Smith, and we've got Janet Lanyon all here tonight for us, so we can question them and probe them with all sorts of secrets that they're going to divulge to us tonight. And most of all as well, we also have our award show announcements to make, so that's going to be super exciting. And we also have 2 extra awards that are premiering tonight. So our Eco Hero Award and our From the Heart to the Ocean. But first we're going to get some housekeeping out of the way.
So I'd just like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that we're broadcasting from, Turrbal people, the elders past, present and future. And also I'd like to acknowledge Indigenous people all around the world, whatever country you might be watching the broadcast from. Okay, so we've got some fabulous prizes to give away tonight, and we'll be crossing to the weather station from time to time to bring those prizes to you. We've got, as Jazz said, we've got the Guru Awards, the Eco Hero, and the From the Heart to the Ocean, the new Creative Arts Award. So I should be over at the weather station.
You should be.
I'm going to go to the weather station. Okay, so alrighty. So let me just explain those awards to you. The Eco Hero Awards is for someone very special who's given back to the community and been a wonderful advocate for the ocean. The nominations for fees for this year's awards are being directed to Rainforest Rescue, an amazing conservation organisation who are working to preserve and protect and replenish rainforests in North Queensland. To add to support for Rainforest Rescue tonight, we actually, Jasmine and I have collaborated to produce this beautiful one-off photo book. It's 100 pages. There will only ever be one of them made, and so you can put in a silent bid for that tonight. You can send your bid to the burner phone number down here. There's a text for Australian callers and people from overseas. You can put your bid in for the book. The auction will close at 11 o'clock tonight. Be sure to have that number ready, because the competition, the lucky draw prizes all through the evening, they'll all be sent. The answers to those can all be sent to that phone number by text. And don't forget that if you're on a free ticket, you get to see the show tonight. And how about you think about upgrading to a silver or a gold ticket? Because if you do that, you'll be able to enter the quiz. So the quiz is the competition with about $20,000 worth of fantastic prizes from our sponsors, and there should be a link on where you're viewing the feed from that'll take you to the tickets to do an upgrade, and you'll get an automatic upgrade to that. Okay, so back to Jasmine on the desk.
So let's kick things off. So I'd love to introduce to you someone who's already a champion speaker and has been on the Underwater Tour show before, so you all should be familiar with him. And with a warmest welcome, we are going to bring back Dr. Richard Smith, who's waited out 2020 to be here with us tonight for 2021. So all the way from the UK, he's coming back, and we all know that he's been having a love-hate relationship with the quarantine measures over there. So Dr. Richard, we don't want you to be overwhelmed by the huge number of guests that have come here, audience members that have come here to watch you tonight. So we're going to help you through that anxiety right after we have a break and have a word from our sponsors.
Okay, so we are super happy to have you here with us, Richard. Welcome.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
Been busy, and I understand that you've been naming a new African pygmy seahorse.
Yeah, it's handy to have done something at least in lockdown. Yeah, that was quite the exciting adventure to discover this guy. And name it. I didn't discover it personally, but yeah, it was a very exciting turn of events and good to have something to have achieved in 2020 at least.
Mm-hmm. And congratulations on your second birthday for your book.
There it is. It's quite the tome. Yeah, thank you. It's super exciting. I can't believe how well it's done. When I was writing it, I just wanted to share my excitement for weird little creatures that live under the sea. And yeah, it seems like people have wanted to join me on the journey with it. So yeah, it's been really exciting.
And to keep everyone updated, Richard's going to be doing a VIP session sometime at the end of the week, and to talk more about ugly beasts and new discoveries that he's had in his quarantine. He's done so much in his quarantine.
So yeah, beasts. Well, yeah. Talking about ugly beasts, I reckon that is a pretty ugly beast. What is that?
Well,
I reckon it's an ugly beast, but Richard, is that an ugly beast to you? What do you think's a really ugly beast?
Well, no. Honestly, I don't find it. I mean, it's a stargazer, so I think it's a face only a mother can love. But yeah, I mean, I think these creatures are fascinating. You know, like, there's so much interesting behavior about every single animal, whether you guys think they're beastly or not. I'm not sure I agree, but yeah, they're kind of ugly, I guess. I'll concede that.
Have you got something that you think is more beastly than that?
Well, I don't think any of it's beastly, but I think you've got a Banggai cardinalfish there, which I think is awesome. So, like, that's the dad. His mouth is full of his children, where he's carrying them around for a couple of weeks after they've hatched. It's kind of grotesque, but it's lovely. He's trying to just look after his kids so more of them survive. And there's always a story to every, like, somewhat grotesque sort of storyline, I guess.
Well, actually, Richard, that makes for a good segue to the announcement of the Guru Awards, particularly the Underwater Characters category, which we will get to shortly. But first we're going to have a lucky dip prize. So over to Jasmine for that.
Okay, so our first lucky dip prize for tonight, everyone is eligible to enter, so you've got to text the answer with your name to our burner number. And the question for tonight is, for the first one, is what is the most interesting beast Richard has encountered underwater? And it's not the stargazer. So maybe that's a bit of a hint. Okay. So SMS, and maybe the spelling too. You might have to get the spelling right for that one. But so SMS your answer to the burner phone, and those are the numbers here in front of us. And also, while you're there, we've got the number. Maybe you want to put a bid in for our Rainforest to Reef charity book auction as well. So the Underwater Tour Award celebrates the best of the ocean. We'll be starting our announcements with the 5 categories of the Guru Awards and premiering our first 2 new awards, the Eco Hero and From the Heart of the Ocean. We've enlisted our esteemed judging panel to help us announce the winners. They have worked on images, hundreds of images from 9 countries, which is a very difficult task indeed, so we're very grateful for the effort that they've put in to help score for these images.
The Underwater Tour Awards strive to ensure that the natural world is depicted both creatively and honestly, with due regard shown to the welfare of all marine life and habitats. To ensure entries align with these ideals, judging only takes place after all the images undergo the ethics review process, which is conducted by renowned marine biologist Dr. Richard Smith.
This year's Underwater Tour category winner for Underwater Characters is a man from Belgium. His name is Luc Roman, and he photographed something from freshwater environment. And we are here in a freshwater environment, and therefore we thought it was proper to show this place. But we're in the tropics. He was photographing in the cold waters of Belgium, and the winning picture are 2 mating toads, bufo bufo, I think common toads are called, and there's a beautiful streak of light, this beautiful beam of sunlight beaming onto this mating toads underwater, making this picture really special and really beautiful. So to Luc Roman from Belgium, congratulations for the category Underwater Character.
After each dive, I start thinking about my next one. So I start planning, and it starts all over again. You're making preparations, and your excitement builds. You're going to make the most of every second. You want your kit to keep you focused and not distract you. You learn what works and what you can trust, and you more and more focus on the dive and less on what gets you there. Because at the end of the day, they're just a string of individual moments, and those are the moments that tide me over till my next dive.
Okay, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's a beautiful image, that one, with the light coming into the water.
And the fox.
Yeah, really unusual. I hadn't seen anything like that before.
We've seen a lot of great images that have entered this year.
Yeah.
But getting back to Richard, because it's all about Richard at the moment. So aside from your pygmy discoveries and your 2nd year book anniversary, the piece de resistance, if anybody has already seen, is the premiere of the Underwater Tour of Richard's The Little Things. Yay!
I'm Dr. Richard Smith. I've always been fascinated by the underdogs of the ocean. It's these creatures I'm dedicated to learning more about and sharing with the world. I conducted the first research on the biology of pygmy seahorses,
and made surprising discoveries about their lives on a miniature scale.
So great, Richard. What did you think?
Yeah, I'm so excited. We got to go back to, well, the three of us did, Jasmine and Darren, and we got to go back to Wakatobi, which was my second home for so long. And it was just incredible to be back there, but also incredible how much more you see. I mean, I spent months there, but I saw all these extra things I didn't even know were there. It's just incredible. Yeah, I loved it.
So if you haven't already seen the Spotlight feature, the little things, you should make sure you put that in your viewing list in the upcoming days. Richard, that's a really amazing way that we got to see the work that you're doing with your PhD and the amazing images you take. I just sit there in awe watching your amazing neutral buoyancy that you have when you're shooting. For any budding photographers out there, do your peak performance buoyancy course as soon as possible. Richard, is there a kind of a key take-home message you'd like people to get from the film?
Yeah, I think really the key for me was that I wanted people to learn about those little underappreciated creatures that, you know, people often overlook or don't give all that much time to. It's almost sometimes a bit of a checklist to see a thing. But I kind of want people to understand that they have these amazing behaviors and there's just so much going on that we don't understand in the ocean. So I just kind of wanted to introduce people to that a little bit more as well.
Fantastic. All right, so for now we're going to have a lucky draw. We're going to draw the lucky draw prize, aren't we, right now? So over to Jasmine at the weather station.
Great. Okay, so I have a winner. So the question was, what was the most interesting ugly beast Richard had encountered under the water? And the winner is Nicola Waldron. So great, Nicola, for SMSing us in. That's fantastic. And I'm going to draw your prize out of the lucky dip basket. I won't put it. Oh. This is a Scuba Pro Nova 850R. So it comes in a really cool case.
It's a torch.
And it's a torch.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Oh, you can take some really nice shots with that one.
Yeah, very nice.
Well done.
Well done. Okay, so just a friendly reminder that to enter the major prize draw, you need to have the silver or gold ticket, and you need to upgrade to get the program in order to enter the quiz for those major prizes. But everybody tonight's going to be eligible for the lucky draws that we've got going on. All of those links are at the website. Well, that Wakatobi looks pretty stunning, Richard. I don't know how you have spent your poor lonesome student days in such a terrible place.
Yeah, let me tell you about the arduous days I spent there. No, I mean, they were so incredible, the Wakatobi folk. They put me up and were so encouraging of the work. They're incredible folk.
Mm-hmm.
We dug this photo out of Richard as a student. The funny thing is, though, he doesn't look any different when he was like 20 than he does now. I won't say how old he is now.
I've always been very cool, you see. Not a little dweeb at all.
Your hair's gotten a bit longer now.
That's true.
That's the lockdown has done that for you.
Well, we've had the privilege of diving with you several times, Richard, and it just amazes me at how you can just ID animals, little critters just like that. I mean, my descriptions of them when I come up to the surface are very exact and precise and vivid, so that may help in you being able to identify them, of course. But it generally, truly is a superpower. So to show everybody how much of a superpower it is, I've got a little game that I want to play with you. I've got some flashcards of some little critters, and we're going to see how many you can name in 60 seconds. So you don't really have a choice right now. So you're going to do that. I'll get my cards out.
Well, as a caveat, I can't. Maybe they'll be quite small. I can't see them super well. So if I get any wrong, that's probably what's happened.
So, are you ready?
Can you see them, Richard?
Can you see
them? Kind of.
That's better.
Yeah. So that's a little Dorid on a sea star. Am I starting? Dorid on a sea star. My favourite, a soft coral pipefish. I think that's a line-cheek wrasse. Pegasus sea moth. I can't really see. Yeah, Pegasus sea moth. Scorpion fish, I think. I can't see it. I can't see it. I can't see that either.
What are you doing?
I can't even, it's like this big in the screen. I can't see anything. Just tell me what it is. I don't know.
How big is a pygmy seahorse?
2 centimeters. But this is camouflaged. If I've taught you well, you should know yourself. I don't know why you're testing me on this. Just show me the next one. It might be bigger. Mushroom coral shrimp. Mushroom coral shrimp. Green. Filefish.
I think that's 60 seconds now.
Lizard fish.
Well done.
An amazing skill.
I may have set him up a little bit for that, but you know, you never know.
All right. So the little things, everyone should watch it if you haven't already. It's exclusive to the underwater tour, and if you get your show program, you can answer some show questions and win some awesome prizes.
I love black and white photography. One of the things I really like about it is that when you take the colour out of a picture, you signal to the viewer in the clearest way possible that you're not seeking to make a documentary record. It's going to be art when it's black and white. And this photograph is a great example, the winning picture by Christian Lane from Mermaid Waters, Australia, of this beautiful turtle just gliding through the water. And then we've got this lovely use of slow shutter and spin technique to create a sense of movement in the corner there. It's a lovely photograph, a worthy winner. Congratulations again, Christian. It's so beautiful that I would happily give it space on my wall at home.
congratulations, Luke. From the Gold Coast in Australia for that beautiful black and white image of a turtle.
And now we'd like to introduce to you our key speaker and Singaporean culinary noodle specialist, an underwater colours extraordinaire, a man with the Shibu Inu, wonderful dog, Mr. Aaron Wong. Hi, Aaron.
Hi, everyone. Can you guys hear me well?
Yes. Well, thank you. We're all really
great.
Really
good to be here.
Thanks for joining us, Aaron. You've got a really unique niche to share with our audience, I think. This combination of your really high-end commercial photography experience and work and professionalism. And I'm not sure if everybody knows, but you were instrumental in getting started with the Finish with Fins campaign. And what got you started in that?
I think back in the day, I kind of realized that there was a problem in terms of the way we approach advertising, to spread the words for sharks, because a lot of the shark awareness programs that we've seen are kind of focused on the wrong platform of people, because the audience, like, for example, National Geographic or Discovery Channel, that's where you see a lot of these campaigns. But I feel that a lot of the audience that watches these shows are already quite aware and informed. But the guys that you really need to reach are the folks on the streets, right? I mean, people like my parents or my uncles and my aunties, right? So, I think, of course, shark fin soup is an Asian problem, and, we need to get to these guys. So I realized that the best way to do that is, people don't relate to a picture of a shark because they don't understand it, but people can relate to Jackie Chan, like the picture you are showing there. And so that was the idea. And, back in the day, I think it was 2012, I just got a bunch of celebrities that I've worked with before here in Singapore. And I told them the idea that I wanted to shoot black and white images, to try to get the message across to the everyday people. And so that's how it got started. And then, it kind of gained traction. And from Singapore, we went on to Taiwan, and then to Hong Kong, and to China. And we eventually managed to get hold of Jackie Chan as well. So that was a really awesome project to be involved with.
Finish with Fins really shows that you're not shy of, confronting some controversial topics. I really enjoyed your spotlight feature, particularly the shot you do in the cenote in Mexico, and where you're photographing the Mayan skull. Can you tell us the feelings what was it like to be in a dark cenotes, going through that kind of small cave opening into the pitch black, into an area that, like, these remains are probably from a human sacrifice? Tell us about that.
Well, I will tell you that there's not a lot of fear while I was doing it, but it was kind of like the front and the back of it that was kind of scary. But when we're actually in the shoot itself, it's kind of like a past loading, right? So I don't remember focusing on anything else. I'm just focusing on getting the job done because I have a whole team of people. I mean, there's a lot of stress, right? There's a team of 10 people in the middle of nowhere with you because you had the idea of shooting a skull and you have an editor back in Singapore expecting awesome pictures. So during the shoot itself, I was so focused on it that I couldn't think about anything else. And I think the camera is a kind of like a barrier, if you will. Like, this happens with even war journalists. When you're looking through a camera, you kind of detach from reality. So I didn't feel that much when I was actually shooting it. But after the shot itself, when, we said, okay, we got the shot, let's get out of here. I remember turning around, looking at the skull, and I had the torch on my mask. And I was looking straight at this guy and to the eye sockets where the eyes used to be. And I was thinking, man, you've been sitting here lonely for hundreds of years. And that was when it kind of, gave me a little uneasy feeling that, okay, there's a lot of dead people in this small little hole. I think we should get out of this place now.
Yeah, amazing situation, amazing circumstances to find yourself in under the water for sure. We'll be back to have a bit more of a chat about the art of light with Aaron but first we'll just hear from another one of our partners.
Bula from Paradise Taveuni, an intimate family-run resort in Fiji, offering paradise both above and below the water. Luxurious bures, delicious gourmet food, and the best diving Fiji has to offer. Immerse yourself in the soft coral capital of the world. Explore waterfalls, rainforests, and experience authentic Fijian culture from your home away from home in Paradise Taveuni.
So if you're all interested still in watching the Art of Light with Aaron, another one of our premier spotlight features this evening, you can certainly watch that on our website, and you'll just need to get a link and register with our show.
So welcome to my humble little home. Basically, I'm going to show you some of the pictures that I've done and explain to you how some of these images that you guys are familiar with are actually captured. To show you an example, I'm going to bring you guys to Truk Lagoon and Saipan, the World War II Japanese wreck diving capital of the world. There's a lot of very, very cool cenotes in Mexico. To Fakarava in French Polynesia. Yes, that is a name. Okay, I didn't make that shit up.
So Aaron, you travelled a lot to undertake all your underwater photography around the world. Lucky you, back in the day, not so much travel of late, I'm sure. I know a few photographers, and a lot of us like to spend a lot of money on excess baggage. So do the airlines really love your credit card when you're carrying all these kind of heavy diving gear and camera gear all around the world?
Okay, I'm going to be super honest with you, and I'm not even kidding, right? I have never, in the past 20 years of travel, I've never paid a single cent for excess baggage out of my own pocket. That's the truth. You know, yeah. And okay, I actually have a whole system, a whole way of packing my stuff that, you know, I've kind of nailed it into an art, to be honest. And I actually wrote an article on Scuba Diver Australasia called "Beating the Weight," just to share with people how to, you know, get your excess baggage out of the way. Just a few quick tips if you want to know. First of all, I don't check in my dive gears. I mean my cameras, that's for sure. I put them on me, right? I carry it on my backpack. It weighs 30 kilos. Make it look like it weighs 7. But if you are ever stopped, okay, at the gates, especially if you're flying budget, remember, carry with you a strap so you can bring your entire housing with camera in it, plus a pod and 2 strobes, and sling it on your body. And if you keep your lenses in your bag, make sure you have those small little lens pouches that comes with a little belt loop. Take that out as well. Take off your belt and put it back on. Put it onto your belt, and then carry that in as you know, on your body. And I've done it a couple of times. I have divers who have been with me at check-ins, seeing me do this. And technically, there's nothing wrong with carrying a camera. The last time I checked, an underwater camera is a camera. The lens pouches on your body is part of you, you know, and then by the time you unload everything out of the bag is 7-8 kilos, and then you're good to go.
Okay, well, I reckon that I need to listen to those tips, because my assistant is actually supposed to, I'm supposed to share my excess baggage allowance with my assistant, but she tends to pack more than I do now, so since she's become such a famous photographer. So yeah, I think I'll be taking a few of those bits of those advice on board. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you very much.
Right, man, but don't say it came from me, man.
Okay, I won't tell her. Yeah. Talking about assistants, you, I noticed in the Art of Light you talked about having lighting assistants and on various shoots around the place. Do you use the same assistants in your studio that you use underwater, or is it a completely different team?
Yeah, ideally, if I could bring my assistant from the studio, it would be best. But unfortunately, a lot of the assignments, diving assignments that I've been on, doesn't have the kind of budget to do that stuff. But of course, if you talk about underwater fashion that we do in Singapore, when there is a budget, I'll always use the same crew. So my assistants know me very well, they know my gear very well, and he doubles as my safety diver as well. So, but if you're talking about assignments for diving, then I don't have that luxury, to be honest, until now. So far, most of the time, I use very trusted dive masters that I've dived with over the years. So I kind of know their style as well. So, but yeah, it's all about the budget, guys.
In the spotlight feature, Aaron, I noticed, obviously, and the title of the film is Art of Light. Your technique seems like a lot of the time you're trying to overpower the sun, and I think that is what really gives your work that sort of signature edge that it has. Can you? Is that something that you're consciously doing and trying to, I guess, control the light by using very powerful flashes?
I think, I love control. That's the thing. In the studio, in commercial work, it's always about control. We don't ever rely on ambient, to be honest. If you want a sun, we will bring the sun. This is the kind of mindset we have in the studio. And so naturally, when I started doing underwater work, that's the kind of approach I have as well. So I just generally like darker pictures. So my settings are very, very fast. So if you are shooting something at 250th of a second at f11, it's going to be black, right? And that's where the big strokes that I, carry along comes into picture, right? And so by doing that, what you end up having is a lot of control. Nothing is left to chance. So it becomes almost like a small miniature studio, if you would, underwater for me. So I like it that way, that anything you see in the picture is put there deliberately by me. So I rely very, very little on ambient light, except for the sunburst and all that stuff. But short of that, no.
That's excellent to know, and certainly that control of the light is this thing that really takes you your work from that the general sort of underwater photography that we would see regularly to that really professional level that that we see from you. Thanks for sharing that with us. And anybody interested in photography, if they haven't already looked at the spotlight feature, the Art of Light, they should do, because there's so many great little tips in there for you. So thank you very much, Aaron. We are just going to head over to the weather station again, and Jasmine is going to have another lucky draw prize question for you.
Okay, so up for lucky draw prize question number 2, we have got what is Aaron's brand of underwater housing? So SMS your answer to our burner phone. Here are the numbers here. Don't forget to also update your tickets if you haven't already, or get a silver and gold ticket so you can be eligible to answer all the quiz questions for our major prize draws. You can get all those details on our website. And while you've got our burner phone number, you can also bid for our beautiful one-of-a-kind Rainforest to Reef charity auction book. That'll be fantastic.
There's a hint, just a little hint.
Welcome back. Aaron has also, you may be surprised too that he's also starred in MasterChef Singapore. So Aaron, tell us what all this adventurous cooking is all about.
Okay, for the MasterChef bit, I'll tell you honestly, it was completely by surprise, right? It wasn't a serious thing, but I love cooking. It's one of the passions. I think a lot of people do. So I've always seen myself as a home cook, and I just, feed people. And over the years, I haven't killed anybody yet so far, fortunately. So, and some friends say it was pretty good. So, and then they suggested the MasterChef thing, and one thing led to the other, and then things got really serious. But in the end of the day, it's just a pursuit of passion, to be honest. It's just like photography. I like it, I pursue it. And with F&B, with the food and cooking and all that stuff, again, it's just driven by passion. So, MasterChef came along, and from then on, we've been doing a lot of stuff in the restaurants and running my own store and all that. It's good fun.
So we were so intrigued by this, and this is you at your food stall. You probably don't know that we took this image because we sent some spies out to your food stall, and they ate all your dishes, and they were, as you can see, very happy with all your meals. And they even did a couple of food blogs for us. So we'll play them for you now to give you some honest feedback.
The noodles are fresh and handmade. You can't believe they're crispy. The chili is spicy too. And the soup, smooth and refreshing.
Okay, the soup is very nice. It's not the mashy, watery type. Looks very healthy and no ajinomoto and not that salty. It's good for a meal, a light meal, a heavy meal, can do.
So what did you think about the food bloggers' review?
I'm glad they liked it. It feels like they're like some kind of a Michelin secret diner or something. But I'm glad they came. I'm glad they liked it.
We also noticed when the food bloggers were out, we noticed that you're hiring, Aaron, as well. So.
Yes, we are constantly trying to find people, yes.
Okay, so back to the weather station again for a lucky, the winner of a prize, is that what we're up to?
Yep.
Do we have a name? This was the, what sort of housing does Aaron use? And looks like we do have a winner. We do.
We do have a winner, yep. Okay, so we have a winner, and it is David Robinson.
Yeah.
Congratulations, David. You're a winner of that. And I will spin the lucky draw prize box.
The barrel.
The barrel. And pull out a nudie break book for everyone.
That's the Neville Coleman book.
That's a Neville Coleman book. That is an awesome book.
Mm.
Oh, I might have to thumb through this first before you get that one, David. That would be awesome. Okay.
And
Great.
we'll be now announcing the winner for the Aquatic Abstracts category of the Underwater Tour Awards.
Hi everyone, I'm a Korean artist and edX Ocean Ambassador YZN. I would like to announce the winner of the Aquatic Abstract category. This part is a selection part of the abstract expression using the shape, color, and texture of the subject. The winner is Richard Condonfi from the Battle Cracked, Michigan, USA. Congratulations. In his work, it was impressive that the unique pattern and shape of the coral were neatly expressed using pink light underwater. So that is a feel like a patch painting rather than photograph. That's cool. Okay, keep love the ocean, listen to the earth. Let's see you again in the ocean. Bye everyone.
Alrighty. So, Richard and Aaron, I have a question for you. Have either of you photographed a mermaid?
I was actually supposed to until this pandemic came about. We were already making some plans, and then obviously COVID showed up, and that's it.
Well, and I think that mermaids are way too big, so I'm not interested.
I thought you might say that one. Well,
maybe you can look at me in her hair or something, you know?
That's it. I'm on board then.
Well, I'd love to introduce to you our next special guest speaker, Janet Lanyon, who is a marine and mammal specialist and world authority on dugongs, aka mermaids. And she's a senior lecturer in the School of Biological Sciences at the University of Queensland, where she leads the Marine Vertebrate and Ecology Research Group. Welcome, Janet. Thank you. Hi.
Welcome to the desk.
Oh, thank
Welcome.
you very much. How exciting.
Yes.
So, Janet, we'll move this out of the way so everyone can see you. I'm going to start with, we've had a great conversation about dugongs, and tonight I'm just going to start with a really hard-hitting question about that one. So I've got here a quote from Christopher Columbus, actually, because he journaled it in his journal. So on January 8, 1493, sailing near the Dominican Republic, he journaled that he saw 3 mermaids which rose well out of the sea, but are not so beautiful as they are said to be. Kind of rhymes. For their faces had some masculine traits.
Yes.
What's that about, Janet?
Okay, so back then, well, I guess what you have to realise is these guys have been at sea for nearly 6 months, and they're drinking a lot of red wine because back then the water would have been stagnant, their storage water on board the vessel. And so they were drinking wine for medicinal purposes, so to ward off pathogens, disease pathogens. So they were looking at manatees and obviously thinking that they looked quite beautiful at the time. As far as the masculine, well, I wonder, I guess they've got whiskery faces. But yeah.
Well, you know, I just think that they're absolutely adorable. So, dugongs versus manatees versus mermaids, Janet. Which do you think is the most beautiful?
Okay, so is that Darren dressed as a mermaid?
Yes.
Okay.
Possibly.
Well, possibly.
Possibly.
Oh, look, well, hands down the mermaid then.
Thank you, Janet.
Well, I think I have to go with dugongs, I'm afraid. Yeah, I think the manatees are a bit too masculine looking with their whiskers. Dugongs are much sleeker and smoother.
Yeah.
Well, I think the mystery must continue with that one then. But to also, I mean, they must totally adore each other and think each other is adorable, because we found this clip. I know you said that you've never documented the dugongs mating before, but we found this clip that we'll play for everybody, and you might want to have your say in what's happening in it as well.
Okay. Okay.
They're looking pretty friendly.
They're looking very friendly. Okay, so you've got 2 dugongs there, obviously. One of them is a male,
yes,
obviously, and he's pretty happy, sort of male. Look, whether that's real mating behaviour, I'm not really sure. It could be. The trouble is, in a situation like that we can see that one's a male and we're not sure what sex the other one is. And it could be a female, so it could be mating behaviour, but I'm always a little bit wary because we've had instances in the past where we thought we've seen mating behaviour and it's turned out to be 2 males.
Yes, actually that's one of my favourite bits out of your film, The Dugong Detective,
Right.
Which is a little bit where you explain how you saw what you thought was mating behaviour and got pretty excited.
Yeah, so in fact we saw 2 dugongs that were lying belly to belly in about 3 metres of water, so lying on the sea floor. And the water was really clear, and so we could see them just lying there stationary, and we thought, this is mating behaviour for sure. And so when they came to the surface, we took a little nick of skin from each of them, and then we sent the skin off to the laboratory because we can sex the animals, and we figured that we'd have 1 male and 1 female. And in fact, I got so excited that I wrote the paper, the scientific paper, all ready just to pop the sexes in. Both males. Oh. so they tricked us.
They tricked you.
Yeah.
Oh. Yep.
All those that are wondering about sand, I think that was one of the other interesting things about the dugongs was when they're feeding, they're eating up the seagrass, but not. Their guts don't get any.
Yeah, it's really peculiar. So they're bottom feeders, so they're feeding on seagrass that's growing in silt or mud or sand. And yet when you look at a dugong carcass, so when they come in dead stranded, we look inside their guts so we can see what they're feeding on, and we do various physiological studies. And we never find sand, or the most sand we've ever found is about a teaspoonful. So when they feed, there's sand billowing all around them.
Yeah.
So somehow they're able to get the seagrass in without the sand clinging to it.
So
it's amazing.
Lots of mysteries for an animal that is relatively common for us here on the coast of Queensland anyway.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. One of our most common marine mammals here.
Yeah.
So we might just flick give you a look at the trailer for the Dugong Detective.
Janet Lanyon started her career studying gum-leafed eating koalas. It wasn't until a chance meeting with the marine biologist that she decided to swap out her eucalypt forests for seagrass meadows.
I mean, we knew they ate seagrass, we knew that they were found in coastal situations, but we didn't know much else. So to know some really basic things like how do they eat seagrass, how do they use their teeth and how do they use their gut.
Alrighty, so we're sure that you'll enjoy the Dugong Detective if you haven't already. Well, let's just have a little word from one of our sponsors.
Nautilus liveaboards, together with Baja expeditions, offer a unique opportunity to encounter the friendly grey whales of San Ignacio Lagoon, Baja, California. Remote, minimal impact, and luxury glamping. A chance to get off the grid in the breathtaking wilderness without sacrificing comfort or luxury. An iconic adventure for mindful travellers. A visit with the grey whales will touch your soul.
Okay, so for the last 20 years you've been working hard, tracking dugongs, with what seems to be just a lot of really hard work. Not too much technology in terms of the tracking, you don't use a lot of tracking devices, it's out and about. What sort of signs do you look for when you're out looking for dugongs?
Yeah, okay, well, the best sign, of course, is to see the animal itself. So we're looking for a brown back, or sometimes it's just their head or snout just coming out above the water. If the lighting's right and the seas are calm, sometimes you can see a breath above the water, just a small glow, so that can be a sign. Apart from that, we're looking for indirect signs. It might be sand in the water, so billowing mud from the feeding, so the feeding plumes. Sometimes it's as simple as a little ripple on the water or a little silver sheen. So your eyes get tuned in after a while, so you can pick up these different things. Sometimes it's just a splash in the distance, and so we'll go over to investigate. So there are different signs. But having said that, there's insider knowledge as well. You get to the point where you know that the animals are coming back and feeding in the same sort of places, sometimes day after day or week after week.
Yeah, I know when we're out on the boats looking for whales, we often suggest to people they look for things that just like point at anything that's not the ocean.
Yeah, that's right.
Because it's probably going to be something worth looking at.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It must be amazing to be in the water with these cuddly cushions of like muscle and fat. So what do they feel like, and what is it like to be in the water with them?
It is really special being in the water with them, and we all know, part of all the pet members of my team know that it's a real privilege to work with these animals, because they're animals that are hard to get close to, and a lot of people don't get to see them very often. I love working on them because they're watching us all the time, and looking in their eyes I find really special. What are they thinking about? And they watch us very closely when we're near them. If we see them from the boat, they're around the boat. If we're hands-on working with them, they're looking at us all the time.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. It's great they're actually watching you and acknowledging that you're there doing something.
Yeah. That's right. They're aware.
Like, what are they doing? Yeah. So we understand that SeaWorld Research and Rescue help you a lot with your assessments and with furthering your research, have played a big role in helping you in the last, is it 20 years?
Yeah, about 20 years now. SeaWorld are well known, especially in Queensland, for the role that they play in rescuing animals and rehab. Probably less known is their role in research, but they're really serious about research and conservation. They're one of the major funding bodies for marine vertebrate research in Australia, and they give lots of support to various research groups, including ours. So yeah, I'm very grateful to them for their support.
Yeah, no, that's really great. And they've also been very kind in giving us a prize for tonight as well. So
Fantastic.
We'll switch over to Darren, and he's going to tell you all about the SeaWorld prize that we're giving away tonight.
Okay, so thanks to SeaWorld, we have a whale watching trip out of the Gold Coast to give away. And we have a question for you relating to Janet's research, and that is, what species of Sirenia has Janet been researching for the last 40 years? So hopefully you should be able to get that one out of the title of her spotlight feature. So you can SMS your answer with your name to the burner phone number, which is here for you, and repeating that question, what species of Sirenia does Janet research? And remember, those lucky dip prizes are open to everybody. Maybe while you're there you'd like to head over to the website and upgrade your ticket to a silver or gold ticket, so you can enter the quiz prize draw as well. And also, of course, the option for the one-of-a-kind Rainforest to Reef book that Jasmine and I have produced. And if you go to the website, you can see a video preview of the book if you want to see all the pictures in there. And it's all about exploring the connections between the rainforest and the reef. Okay, so quick game with Jasmine and Janet.
Thank you. Yeah, so like Darren gave away, I also have a quick game to play with you, Janet. With all your years of working with dugongs, you would be able to spot them blindfolded, I think. The breeze would just hit your face and you'd be like, there's one right over there. And you'd be able to do that. So, I've got some flashcards. I'll get out my special flashcards of dugongs and manatees. And all you have to do is just tell me whether they're a dugong or a manatee.
Okay.
Okay?
Get your glasses.
Do you need glasses? They're going to be pretty big flashcards.
Yep.
So we've got about 60 seconds.
All right.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay.
Dugong.
Yeah.
Dugong.
Oh, see?
Dugong. Manatee. Manatee.
Oh, that's quick.
Koala. Dugong.
Wow.
Dugong. Dugong poo. Manatee poo. Dugong. Dugong poo.
Yes.
She got the dugong.
Awesome. That was fantastic. Wow.
And while we're here, we thought we might also see if you could pick that one.
Oh. Manatee.
What do you think that might be?
I think it's...
Maybe it's for the photographers in the audience. Maybe it's a bit of humanity.
Yes.
A bit of human saturation.
I think it's time for another awards announcement.
Yeah, good idea. After that.
After that one.
The topside scene category is photographs taken above the water depicting ocean and freshwater environments. 70% of the image must contain water. I'd like to congratulate Pavlos Evangelidis for his image Catch of the Day, a sunset scene of traditional fishermen. The warm tones, slow shutter speed and silhouettes make the shot. Congratulations, Pavlos.
Fantastic. Congratulations to the winner of the topside scenes, Pavlos Evangelidis. It's a beautiful image. I love the long exposure and some lovely colours and tones in that picture. So we're now heading over to the weather station again because we have a winner already for the most recent Lucky Dip prize.
Okay, so our winner for the SeaWorld Family Pass to go whale watching is Brian Poole. Yay! And also take the opportunity to send in your charity bid to the burner phone for our Rainforest to Reef charity book. And upgrade your tickets too to the silver and gold tickets if you haven't already, so you can answer all the quiz questions for our major prize draws.
All right. Thank you very much, Jasmine. Now, whale watching season is coming up, so this is our second whale season that we haven't got to swim with whales in Tonga, so we're a bit unhappy, but we're really looking forward to seeing all whales on the east coast of Australia, and we hope everybody gets out and experiences some ocean and some animals over the winter.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought we'd open up the conversation between our guests.
Yep.
And
And Richard's got a great question for Janet. I'm sure let's put him on the spot, because he said that he really loved spotting dugongs before. He didn't really mean it when he said they were too big for him. Did you, Richard?
Oh, do I have a question? So, well, Janet, you may not know actually that I was in your class sometime in the past. I don't want to age myself too much, but I think it was like 2003 or 4. Surely you're a star student, but I really loved it. But I kind of was interested to know what happened, what's been like the biggest findings since then in your field.
Okay, well, hi Richard. Yes, I remember you from way back then.
Of course.
you were a great student. He was great, yeah.
Yeah, she's not making it up.
Do you want another look at that student photo? So you can like
See if you can
See if
remember
you
him.
can remember him.
There he is.
I mean, he pretty much looks
There
the
he
same
is.
already.
He hasn't changed much, really, has he? Look at him. Young Richard.
I think we did an amazing talk on Hector's dolphins, actually. I seem to remember my friend Ida and I did an amazing presentation. I feel like that may have been your class.
Yes, I think I do remember that.
Yeah.
Honestly,
There you go.
yes, very good.
Well said, Janet. Yeah.
Okay, so some of our major findings. Well, I guess one of the major things that we've found over the last few years is sort of surprising. Dugongs are really large and you'd think quite mobile animals that could move over large distances, but they just don't. They just tend to stay in local areas. So we've sampled hundreds of dugongs up the coast by taking a little skin scrape, and then we get a DNA fingerprint, and we can then work out genetic variation along the coast. And what we've found is that there are these genetically separate populations all the way up the coast. And in fact, it's really interesting. At the Whitsunday Islands, there's an abrupt break. Dugongs just don't seem to move across that area. And we're not really sure.
Queenslanders. They're like
that's
that,
right.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. But they, you know, even if you look at a much smaller scale, for instance, if you go up to Fraser Island, you've got dugongs living in Hervey Bay, and then just further south in the Great Sandy Straits, you've got a completely separate genetic population, and they're only 30 or 40 kilometres apart. So we've got all these separate populations, which means that we have to manage the threats at on a local scale. So I guess that's one of the most important things that we've found.
I'd like to ask another quick question, but they're found all the way from East Africa. So is there just one species? You don't think it's separated into more species or anything?
All of the information that we have indicates that it's just a single species, but having said that, in some places dugongs look a bit different. So the dugongs in Southeast Asia look a little bit different to the Australian dugongs, and no doubt they look different elsewhere too. So just different body shapes, they achieve smaller body sizes up further north. Their tails are a different shape, just subtleties.
Yeah, and we were let into that little bit of knowledge when we included in the Dugong Detective. We were, you know, obviously having to put some pictures of dugongs into the film, and most of the dugongs that we find in Queensland are in very murky water, so they're very hard to get pictures of. But in some other places, like the Red Sea, they're in clearer water and easier to get pictures. We put a few pictures in front of Janet, and she said, "They're weird-looking dugongs."
That's true. They were.
Yeah. So, yeah. Did you have anything to ask Richard?
Yeah, well, you know, when we do the dugong work, Richard, we tag our animals, as I said, with DNA fingerprints so that we can tell them apart, because they pretty much all look alike. And I was really fascinated when I watched your spotlight feature that when you work on your African pygmy seahorses, you seem to be able to tell those guys apart too, because you do social studies. And I'm just wondering, how do you tell them apart?
Oh, he does that you do that with the skin scraping too, don't you, Richard?
Yeah, of course. I don't think a pygmy can spare any skin. I think that might be a bit much. Actually, the pygmies that I did those social studies on were Denise's pygmies, and they live on Gorgonian sea fans in small little groups. So they settle from their plankton stage onto this Gorgonian, and then they live in little discrete groups. And once they've settled, they don't leave again. So the groups that I was studying were sort of 4 to 6 in size. And those groups didn't change during the whole time I was studying them. So you kind of get to know, some are bigger than others, some are different colors, some are bumpier than others. So yeah, you really get to know which is which. And I was taking photos to identify their sexes and stuff. So yeah, you kind of get to know each one pretty intimately.
Fascinating.
All right, so I think we'll continue with our awards announcements, and we have the Underwater Scenes category award coming up now.
The underwater scenes category is underwater photographs depicting marine and aquatic environments. I would like to congratulate Wayne Osborne from Applecross, Western Australia, for his image of the healthy, lush and biodiverse marine microenvironment of a tropical reef outcrop. Congratulations, Wayne, on such a standout and beautiful image of a coral reef. I think you've perfectly captured how a beautiful coral reef should look like. Congratulations, Wayne.
Congratulations to Wayne Osborne. Lovely picture with a fisheye lens. That one, in that crystal clear water and that beautiful coral. And hard to find the backscatter. Really amazing. Well done with the lighting in that one for sure. So yeah, congratulations.
Hey Aaron, do you prefer like a wide or a macro lens?
I actually started with macro, but you know, gradually I went into wide angle, and I've just been wide angle ever since. I mean, I still do macro shots once in a while. I find it's good fun, but you know, I think there's a lot more to tell in wide angle shots.
Have you got any questions for Richard, Aaron?
Richard, actually, I do have a question for you, because I've been hearing all these things about pygmies, and since you are the expert, I really want to know a photographer questions I've been wanting to ask for the longest time. We hear about all these stories about pygmies being very sensitive to light, and how photography strobes and sometimes video lights affect them. How much do they really affect them? And if it does, what can we do as photographers, or I would say maybe even dive guides? What can we do to minimize the kind of stress that we cause to these animals?
Yeah, it's a really good question, Aaron, an important one. So yeah, part of my PhD work was looking at diver interactions with pygmies. And I found even when divers were being really careful, being really looked after by the guides, they were taking only a few pictures, that almost half of them actually came into physical contact with the Gorgonian. And that is like kind of the biggest problem. So I guess you've maybe dived in Lembe Strait and stuff like that, where because they were site attached, like I was saying to Janet, people can go back to the same site over and over again. And that is kind of also what puts them at a different position to some of the other seahorses or other creatures. So once someone knows that there's a Gorgonian with pygmies, they go back over and over and over again. So it's kind of that cumulative effect that's important. With flashes, like we can now digitally take hundreds of pictures, and some people do. Some people also physically manipulate them to get a better picture, which is really an important thing to avoid. But also they really dislike constant focus lights because they are usually in deeper water. They are sometimes shallow, but they're usually beyond 15, 20 meters. So they live in dark places. So if you have a constant focus light, they really, really hate that. And you're not going to get that picture, which is them turning around and showing that lovely face and stuff. You just need to back off and be a bit patient. That's my top tips.
I guess their cuteness is their curse, isn't it? Because
absolutely,
so much pictures, and everybody wants a pygmy seahorse in their list. And I mean, I can imagine how annoying it must be. I mean, if I were to shine a torchlight in your eyes, you're gonna hate it. So
yeah, exactly.
Spare a thought for that. Take it easy and take a step back, like what Richard said, and then you get that face-on shot you need.
Yeah. I would also like to ask you a question, Aaron. I did a bit of fun fashion underwater photography with my buddy Joe in a pool. And she's like a water baby, but it was a hot mess. Like, we actually did get some really nice pictures, but she also had like all the water from the pool running down her nose and was dry retching from all of that. So I imagine for you, it made me think it must be really hard, and you must have really to pick good models and how that all works. Do you work with the same people a lot? Because being in the water is so different, isn't it?
Yes, one thing's first, we give a lot of training. And before the shoot itself, like a couple of days before, you can't do the training prior. I mean, like on the same day. It has to be a couple of days, and we give them a lot of training, a lot of tips. And so what happens is briefing is the most important because obviously you can't talk underwater. So, you know, if you watch my spotlight feature, there's a lot of, I love drawing sketches and visuals. And that's exactly what it is for. So that your entire team, not only just your models, but your crew members know exactly what you want to achieve. So it's like, think about it as like a synchronized skydiving people. They will plan all their moves beforehand. And that's what we do because it's so difficult to communicate. And even if you try to give hand signals underwater, remember your models are not wearing masks. So they can't see you anyway. To them, you are just a block. So briefing is very important, and you have to work really fast because I think what you're talking about is, you know, water going up the nose, your eyes getting really red from the chlorine or whatever's in the water. And then that you know, the shoot space is very, very limited. So you gotta know exactly what you want, go in and hopefully get it within the first 20 shots.
Awesome. All right. Top tips.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thank you very much. I think we will be now, we're going to announce the winner of the People's Choice voting for the Underwater Tour Awards. And to do that, we have Mr. Greg Crow here live in the studio. And the People's Choice is a public voting competition, which is held on the website, and the voting was open for about 3 weeks in the lead up to tonight. So, over to you, Greg.
Thanks, Darren. This year's competition, we had a great range of images this year. The top 200 were put into the People's Choice, and as Darren said, they're up for vote. So the winner of this year's People's Choice is Craig Lambert, with his image of Juvenile's calamari squid. Congratulations, Craig. Well done.
Well done.
Okay, so thank you very much, and congratulations, Craig. It's a really beautiful image. The colour of that there's some really exquisite colours, subtle colours coming through in that picture. Okay, so Janet and Aaron, you show a lot of planning and team coordination in your spotlight features between you. What tips can you give me?
Oh, I don't know if I can give you many, Darren.
Because I need a bit of help with my planning.
Well, I think, what do? We take a lot of spares. We take dozens of extra nally bins full of spares of everything. That's one of the big things. I guess early planning is another thing. We always plan very early. And then having a great team, I guess, that you can depend on so that you know that everything's going to run to clockwork.
Yeah. How about you, Aaron?
I think the first thing, you need to be realistic, right? You need to manage the expectations of what you want to achieve, so don't over plan stuff that you can't achieve. And what Janet said is totally true. Okay, always bring spares. Because in my industry, as a commercial photographer, I always tell my assistants, like, 2 is 1, 1 is none, right? So we always have spares for everything because you got to presume that anything that could go wrong will go wrong. So that's that. So I think these 2 things are, you know, quite important. And of course, you know, the planning, you have to make sure. I mean, it's one thing to brief people, but make sure they really understand, because a lot of the times guys are just going, but you got to make sure they know what the thing is, and you go in and get what you want as quick as you can.
Yeah, well, Aaron, I've got a question for you, if that's okay. I really enjoyed your spotlight feature a lot, and one of the things that really struck me was how meticulously you plan everything. You know, when you're going after a shot, you design it, you even sketch it out, and then you go all out to get that shot. And sometimes you travel huge distances with a lot of gear and teams, and it's really commendable. I think it's fantastic. But I just wonder, have you ever got into a situation where you've got everything planned and then you get there and everything goes out the window because something wonderful and unexpected turns up? Does that ever happen?
It has, actually. I mean, but very rarely do I kind of, I know it sounds very counterproductive, to be very honest, but it's just my training for the past 20 years in the studio that we are very focused on what we want to do. And so far, I've had a few, like for example, when we were doing some ice diving in Shirotoko in Japan, and you know, we had a brief exactly what we wanted to do, and then out of nowhere, this seal came about, and you know, I tried to, you know, take some pictures of it, but then I realized, you know, the moment you start doing that, then everybody doesn't know what's going on, because underwater you can't talk. So they don't understand. Maybe I saw the seal, but nobody else did. So all of a sudden I go flying off somewhere else, and then the models are like, what's going on here? So then I learned it very quickly that I should not, I should just stick to the brief, unless this thing is really right in front of me and up in my face. If not, I will try my best to just stick to the brief. It's very difficult. It's a discipline.
I hadn't thought of the models.
Yeah.
Janet.
Yeah, I mean, this was serious, man, because we were trying to communicate through the ice, because they were looking from above the ice before they came in, and she's only got like a couple of seconds in a wetsuit to shoot. And then all of a sudden I saw a seal going by. I'm like, oh, I've never seen this one before, and I just went off shooting it a couple of shots, and then they were completely confused. Completely.
Actually, Janet, I remember being on Thursday Island with you. Well, Torres Strait. We went on Thursday, we were on Mobiag Island, trying to photograph dugongs and interactions with the Indigenous people. And there was a wedding, and everybody just disappeared and left us on the beach for days. So how do you deal with that kind of stuff when you're putting together teams of researchers?
Yeah, well, there has to be a bit of patience there, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the thing that gets us often is the weather, you know, working in a marine environment. So you just have to postpone,
for sure.
Put up with it.
Yeah. And realise that you're sometimes working in places where things happen at a different pace to what they do at home.
Yep.
So, all right, and I think it is my turn to get over to the weather station for another lucky door prize.
Another lucky door prize.
We're running a little bit behind time, so we need to be speeding up here. The question for this lucky draw prize is, where are we broadcasting from tonight? Hopefully there's enough hints from our introduction and the big sign at the back of the store here in Brisbane. You can SMS your answer to the burner phone number, and lucky dip prizes are open for everyone, of course. And don't forget, one last reminder to get yourself an upgrade to the quiz through the program for the silver and gold ticket holders. And I think we'll then just move back to the desk.
And now we're really excited to announce the premiere of our Eco Hero Award.
The Eco Hero Award was created to celebrate and acknowledge individuals who've made significant contributions to helping solve some of the more wicked problems facing our environment. Not only do they help solve these problems, but they give us real hope for a greener, more wonderful future for all of us. Louise Hardman from Coffs Harbour is doing all of the above. Some 30 years ago, Louise witnessed the death of a young green sea turtle due to ingesting plastics and decided to do something about it. She founded the Plastic Collective, a social enterprise committed to keeping plastics from entering the ocean environment. But once you've stopped them, what do you do with them? Particularly if you're in far-flung remote communities. Louise created the first of its kind mobile shredding and extruding machine. So now these plastic wastes become resources that contribute economically to these communities. So far, this technology has been deployed in Australia, Indonesia, and Malaysia, and it's just getting started. I'm really honored to recognize Louise Hardman as this year's Eco Hero. Congratulations.
We'd also like to take this opportunity to give a huge thanks to all our finalists for this. So Dylan Bogue, Diane Oxford, Jacqueline Younger, Tony Isaacson and Sarah Jo Loblin. They're all amazing activists and they all did a fantastic job to be nominated. So we are extremely happy to be able to include this honour into the, well, celebrating this honour as part of our Guru Awards, and to be able to show this appreciation and to give this accolade to someone that's done so much work for us.
And as you know, this year the nomination fees all supported Rainforest Rescue, an amazing organisation who are working to replenish and revitalise and protect the rainforests of far north Queensland. Mm-hmm. Don't forget, you can also, the charity book auction is still live, so there's a chance to contribute there as well. Aaron.
Yeah, actually, I do have a question to ask Janet, since I have a Dugong expert and I've wanted to ask this for the longest time. But before I ask my question, I want to confess, right? I've never seen a Dugong in my entire life, all right? So I want to ask this very layman question, and I've been wondering for the longest time. I've seen them, I've heard stories of sightings over in places like Punakan a couple of years back when I was there. And the thing is, when we finally got out there, we will always not find these guys. We will see the trails of where they have been feeding, but we will never see the Dugong. And I've always wondered, because these guys are, relatively shallow waters, and, they eat seagrass, which we know where they are, and the waters are really, really clear. Why is it so difficult to spot such a big animal that needs to come up to the surface when there's so many boats around? So where do these guys actually sleep, or where do they rest? Or is there a place that, they hide from us?
Yeah, look, good question, Aaron. It's a couple of things there. One is that dugongs spend nearly all their time underwater. When they come up, they only come up for less than a second usually. So they're hard to see, you're right, hard to find. We put time depth recorders on a number of animals a few years ago because we wanted to look at their dive patterns. Mm-hmm. And at first we were looking at their dives in terms of tidal patterns, high and low tide, and we weren't seeing lots of differences in the way they were diving. But then when we started drilling down and looking at it more closely, we were separating tides out into ebb and flow and slack tides. Mm-hmm. And what we found was, it was really weird, was that if you had an ebb tide, so tide moving off the seagrass banks, in the night between about 1 and 4 a.m, the dugongs stopped diving. So every other time they'd be diving up and down, feeding, but during that time they would just sit about a metre under the surface. So I reckon that they're resting then, maybe they're sleeping, and I don't know, other times they're probably just catnapping, like a lot of marine mammals.
So do you think that they sleep also with half open?
Maybe. A lot of marine mammals do that, and other marine creatures, so they're able to close down half of their brain at a time. So they may be doing that. We don't know enough about them at this stage.
It's so amazing that such a big animal can be so elusive in a place that everybody is looking for them, crystal clear waters, but we just can't find them. It's amazing.
It's hard.
What about you, Richard? Have you seen one? Oh no, they're too big.
Sorry, I was on mute. No, I lead and organise trips with my friend Wendy Brown. So she's done about 15,000 dives. But 2 of the trips that we've done together, I've seen dugongs, and she's livid. So I saw one snorkeling in Raja Ampat, and I saw a mother and calf in Chendawassi Bay.
No way.
But I had macro on both times, so.
Of course you do.
Yeah.
I'm still flabbergasted at how there's no sand in there.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
It's so weird. Like when I go to the beach, I've got sand everywhere within like 2 minutes, including stuff that I haven't even brought down there. I don't understand how they don't hoover it in somehow.
Yeah.
it's just you have to solve that mystery,
Yeah,
Janet.
that's right. Yeah,
you do. I think we've got a lucky prize. You're a winner.
We do. We have a winner, and the winner who correctly named Camera Pro as the place where we're broadcasting from tonight is Megan Linden. Congratulations, Megan. I get to spin the barrel now. You can forget the barrel, girl. And oh, fancy that. You win an Underwater Australia book by Darren Jew. Well done, Megan. I could even sign it for you. How about that? Alrighty. Okay, back to the desk.
So we have our next awards announcement. So it's also a first for this year, our From the Heart to the Ocean Awards. It's also very special for us because it's inclusive for all creatives, so not necessarily people that go around collecting photographs each year. And we're really excited to show to see all the entries that came in, the diversity of all the entrants, art pieces that came in. It was very hard for our art curator judge to judge.
From the Heart to the Ocean is an award open to creatives of all strokes who are inspired by the ocean and all of its beauty. It is the first time that this award is being introduced, which acknowledges the fact that the ocean can give inspiration in so many ways, shapes, and forms. It was an honor to judge this year's award and to be able to look at so many outstanding entries. It's time to announce the winner, and the winner of this year's award is Natasha Waller from Tasmania, Australia. Congratulations, Natasha. Your work really blew me away, not only with your technical precision and attention to detail, but also the fact that you chose to focus on one of the ocean's smallest creatures and give it so much attention and splendor against this black backdrop, which was a beautiful artwork in the end. So congratulations again, Natasha.
Congratulations to Natasha. Natasha's got a week up in New Guinea to look forward to, courtesy of Walinidi and Febrina and Oceania. So that's a wonderful prize for the inaugural Heart to the Ocean Max Benjamin Award. We'd also like to congratulate the finalists in the Heart to the Ocean, and that is Adriana Van Leeuwen, Benita Vincent and Vanessa Richardson. Congratulations to you ladies as well.
Yeah, so all the entries were absolutely amazing, and it was great to see the diversity of the art pieces as well. We received pieces, textile fabrics, books, films, not just beautiful drawings on paper or paintings. It was really amazing to see, and the creativity of what our heart can give to the ocean, or what from our heart to the ocean, is totally limitless. So I can't wait to see what everyone's going to enter in for next year. It's going to be really, really interesting.
It's very exciting. It's great celebrating such a diverse range of art. Do you collect any art, Janet?
Now and again, yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. What sort of thing do you like?
Well, I've got a few nice Dugong paintings.
Imagine that.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
How about Aaron? Do you collect any art?
And I'm a photographer, and as you know, I have no place for art. I live in Singapore. My country is small by default. But I do collect a lot of books, though. I have a lot of photography books, books that inspires me. I have tons of those.
Photography books are really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, photography books are really
especially
good.
one-off, one-time, one unique, only editions of a rainforest to reef.
Yeah.
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 How about you, Richard? Are you an art collector?
Actually, yeah. So one of my most treasured possessions is this original piece of art by Ludo Collingwood. He's an artist based in Kuranda, just outside Cairns. And there's like a really long backstory to this piece, but I absolutely love it. It's Wilson's Bird of Paradise here, and endemic to Raja Ampat in Indonesia. Yeah, I love it.
Very good. Nice diverse tastes there. Very nice. Now I think it's time to make the announcement of the Guru Grand Prize. So that's the overall winner of the Guru Awards photography competition. And to make that announcement, we have Phil Joshua, who's Partnerships Manager for Camera Pro.
Thanks, Darren and Jasmine, and hello everyone. It's an honour for me to announce the Grand Guru. To be in the running for this award, the Guru is chosen from a finalist group of top scoring photographers across all 5 award categories. The winner's work must showcase a diverse range of camera techniques, skill and creativity. So this year's winner of the 2021 Grand Guru is Amanda Banksby from Perth, Western Australia. Congratulations.
CCAM has always taken comments and suggestions from photographers seriously, and this one principle has remained steadfast. Built on this authenticity and respect, the result is that CCAM builds fine handcrafted underwater camera housings, each a handmade and unique specimen assembled by a single technician. But it is only in the hands of photographers that CCAM systems show their true qualities. CCAM, Cinema of Dreams.
Wow.
Congratulations. Congratulations to Amanda. I think we created quite the difficult award to win, to get 5 high-scoring images across the wide variety of categories that we offer in the Underwater Tour Awards. And, you know, I think Amanda's work was very strong and won because she showed skills in using monochrome with available light. She was using strobes in close-up. She had a beautiful artistic landscape for her topside picture, and she really nailed the abstractions under the water as well. So really well done, and it is a hard one, and it's amazing to see how some photographers can come up with one really good picture, but to come up with strong showing in a variety of subject matter is really a tough ask, so well done.
That brings us to the end of tonight's show. We've done all our awards and we've spoken to our wonderful guests. So thank you so much for taking the time to coming tonight. Richard, Aaron and Janet, thank you so much. And we hope everyone enjoys their spotlight features. So please go out and have a look at them and watch them. Thanks to everyone here, our audience, and took the time to come out here, and all our partners and sponsors. It was really great for you to support us this year, and next year will be even better. So start taking all your snaps and pictures and start thinking about all those categories, because you could also be our grand guru for next year as well.
Okay, and hopefully we'll all get to see everybody out and about on the ocean over the next 12 months.